But yeah, it's fairly important if you've got three single central control lines, all of which you probably want to be playing with reasonably frequently, and you want to get hold of them. And you know what Russ has done here is quite cute. It's quite clever. He could have done with maybe using a soldering iron or something like that, or a kind of hot knife, perhaps. You know, take pride in his work a bit. But but you know, you can see his intent quite clearly that each of these ropes are on different little thimbles. Worst case, when you're going upwind, all you ever have to do is reach into the middle and you've got the tail straight away. So as long as you kind of, you know, you probably don't even need to be able to touch your toes to be flexible enough to do that. So that's quite a nice little way of doing it. I'm lazier inherently, and I'll always just tie it on the daggerboard handle if I can be bothered at all. Then I'll probably just sail around, sort of scrabbling around the leeward side for it and hoping the best. But yeah, it is very good to be able to actually kind of get the tails quickly and easily to adjust it. You know, because that's, you know, it's not as easy as to just get hold of as having sort of dual controls mounted out here. The benefit of having it down there is you can get an armful of it down at the bottom and give it a good grunt, which means that you can kind of do away with a bit more purchase. Russ, on the other hand, has kind of decided that he wants, what's that, Russ, 16 to 1?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. The mathematician in me says that 16 to 1. So I think the first boats came out with 8 to 1 maybe, so it's kind of a 4 to 1 off a 2 to 1 up there. Personally, I think that's fine, but I hark back to a time where lasers didn't have any blocks in it.
Well, I think for me, the jury's out with it still. I think I'm quite a delicate person, so I quite. I think I didn't, you know.
He's a sensitive flower.
It just felt, I am, yeah. It just felt, I mean, I'm used to things like 505s when we got just too much purchase everywhere.
Yeah,
it just felt a bit kind of binary with the smaller purchase. But okay. I don't think actually the 16 to 1's really, it's a bit overkill. But I had a voucher at P&B, you know, sent it somewhere, didn't I?
And you're bored.
Wife didn't want a block for Christmas.
Yeah, fair enough. So you know, why not? But yeah, there's a couple of things to sort of mention about that. You see, Russ has got a handle here. Which again, like he says, he's a sensitive lad. He works at a desk and stuff, and you know, hasn't got the sort of hands to really sort of grunt on a piece of rope. Now, a handle is something that I kind of advocate if you're back down at the 8 to 1 sort of purchases, because then you don't have so much rope moving. The problem with this is his handle's all very well here, and this is like nearly maximum off kicker. But what uses his handle when he's kind of at the front of the boat and it's kind of behind him? So, but the beauty of having 16 to 1 is it just means that you can kind of, you know...
It was more about Dan being able to grab it sort of back in when you're, you know, screaming reach and have a bit of control over the...
Maybe, okay, fair enough.
This is getting a bit towards bullying now.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll do a beard comparison later.
Beard comparison,
you know, I'm more like George Michael. He's more like a tramp.
I'm more like a jazz, yeah. But
not really.
So you know, like we say, there's room for kind of different interpretation. My personal way of doing this would be to have just a rope loop here, a bowline. That would be it. And I'll have a maximum off knot, a bit like my toe strap, because you know, like, until it gets really windy, your maximum off when you kick is going to be the same place for a run, and you're always going to go around the windward mark onto a run and just knock it off to your maximum off. So I'd just have a maximum off knot, and then the handle set slightly up from there, and that means with an 8 to 1, you're still kind of having advantage on the handle when you're at the front of the cockpit, and it just does, you know, takes a bit of kind of, you know, technique-y, grunty kind of movement rather than the sort of 505 sailor sitting in his armchair kind of just tweaking the rope. But it's different. What? Yeah, absolutely. So Russ has done the same thing with all of those. That's fine. Again, I refer to previous comments with actual total amount of rope in the boat. I mean,
too much.
You can probably nip round with a standing knife and a flag lighter at some point and sort that out.